dropping in on you, leaving the office for the day, making a couple of stops before I head in and do some family time. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I'm getting to enjoy. It is the fruit of my labor, being able to spend time with my family, love on my wife, love on my kids, my grandkids, and appreciate some of the things that I've been able to do over the course of my life. I want to talk about something that's important, and I may take a little time to get there, because this isn't rehearsed. It wasn't something I mapped out or outlined. It's just something that I observed over the course of the last few days. And it's something I have a problem with. It's something that I've spoken on many times before. It's not anything new, but it is something that I want to kind of challenge my brothers and sisters to be aware of and to be proactive and engaging. And it's this. The baby raps about defaming, disrespecting, and all kind of other forms of misogyny towards young black women. Sells 1 million copies. Okay. He sits up and talks about murdering black people, other young black men, and so forth. Again, popularity and fame spreads. And go on down the line of the things that he has done that's disrespectful to the black identity, to the black man, to the black woman, to the black struggle. Just anti-black in so many different ways, and in the violation of so many different principles. And he was rewarded handsomely for it. He says something that is interpreted as quote unquote homophobic. First of all, let me say something. I do not subscribe to the idea of homophobia. I do not subscribe to the idea of disagreeing with someone or even speaking about someone who happens to be gay as being homophobic. People are who they are outside of their sexual identity or their sexual preferences or whatever it is they want to call themselves. What if I identify, with whatever? Nobody sits up and if they're attacked, say, okay, you're being attacked because you're straight, or you're being attacked because you love basketball, or you're being attacked because you like wearing pink, or, what you do in the bedroom is ultimately your business, whether I agree with it or not, but I have a right to disagree with it. And I can actually address you and talk to you and talk about you in whatever way that I pick. And it can actually have very little to do with your sexuality. And even if it has something to do with your sexuality, it's not a phobia. It's my opinion and it's my point. If you don't like it, do whatever you do when you're doing what you want. Just look over it, because you want people to look over when you say things, when you push things. When you're pushing against someone else's belief, you don't want anybody to interfere with it. The same respect that you want for your belief has to be handed to the person who disagrees with you, whether you like it or not. That's how this thing works. This whole freedom of movement, freedom of identity, freedom of speech, all these things that you want to claim as yours belongs to everyone else too. So what that means is, while I can do what I want to do and I shouldn't be punished for it, it doesn't mean everybody has to agree with it. Everybody has to pretend they like it. Everybody has to jump on board with it. It simply means that nobody has a right to discriminate against you. Nobody has a right to cause harm to you. But everybody's fair game to someone's opinion about how they feel about them. That's just life. And when you put yourself on Front Street, like so many do, you are open to opinion. You don't get to sit up and guilt people or threaten people into submission. I feel how I feel. I'm going to say what I want to say, and that's the end of it. So this isn't about the baby saying what he said. Now, what he said is, I finally came across what he said. Somebody wrote it down, because you know me, I don't even have to stop to listen to this cat. That's how ignorant he sounds to me when he speaks and the stuff he talks about. And don't give me that you just, because I came from the streets. I talk to cats that are still there all the time. And there's still things that come out of me at certain times that will let you know that I'm from that place. I'm not talking about the vernacular of being from the hood. I'm not talking about the way you speak. I'm talking about the stuff that comes out of your mouth in the way of whether it's substance or not. My grandfather had a second grade education, so not only was he speaking Ebonics from what we call it, but he was speaking it from an entire different era, and yet he spoke some of the most powerful and provoking things that I've ever heard in my life. It challenged me to be the man I am today. So it has nothing to do with how it sounds. I'm not about being grammatically correct or using that as a judgment of whether somebody is saying something legitimate or not, because it doesn't always come the way you want it to come. I'm good with that. I don't want to make nobody sound any way or any form different than what I want you to be real about what you're speaking. I want your words to have meaning and power. I want your words to move people. When your words hurt people, when your words tear down people, when your words are counterproductive and social and antisocial, I have a problem with that. So it has absolutely nothing to do with the words being used specifically, but what's coming out in the context around them. Now, I did read it, and basically he was big up in the people that he felt about. And he said, if you didn't do this, and if you don't do this, and a bunch of other stuff, throw your hands up in the air. If you blah, 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 and you blah, 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 raise your phones up, and all the stuff like that. So there's a couple of parts in there where, one, if you're a dude and you ain't, no other dude, put your whatever, lighters up or whatever it was. I didn't stick around with it long enough to really, but I got the gist of what was said. So this was what was said on stage. And this is what has become a lightning rod for rebuke, a lightning rod for pushback, a lightning rod for cancellation, all this stuff, to the point that he is actually come on and apologize. This kills me. But this is what happens when you don't own something. Now, hip-hop was ours. We created it. We created it out of a need to have a voice and to replace a void left by the dismantling and the destruction of the Black Panther Party specifically. If you understand hip hop, it was more than just rap music. It was the culture, it was the speech, it was the poetry, it was the clothing, it was the way we engaged one another. It was literally an entire culture of engagement for young Black people, and we let them infiltrate it. We let them buy into it. We let them commercialize it. Then we let them take it. We let them repackage it, redefine it, and then determine what was real hip hop, what was real rap, and what we should be listening to. And that's how you end up with DaBaby, is they were force-fed to us over time, study systematically dumbing down hip hop. Not just rap music, but dumbing down the idea of what hip hop is, to the point to where it's just a beat that makes you move now. It has no meaning. You go back and you listen. I want to talk, you talk about rap, and I don't think you can define or you can restrict Lauryn Hill to rap. She's truly the representation and embodiment to me of hip hop. The vocals, the lyricist, the mindset. If you listen to those songs, she's teaching on the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She's teaching, she's sharing, she's learning, all on that album. And then we went from that to Cardi B and all of the others. And I'm not knocking anyone's hustle, but I'm saying what a person's hustle is shouldn't dictate your level or your standard of what you accept and receive. Doc, what you talking about? What you trying to get at? My thing is, this brother shitted on the Black community from day one. That's how he ate. That's how he got paid. That's how he became determined to be a success, was shitting on Black people, talking down on Black people, disrespecting Black women. And all of a sudden, he says something indirectly about homosexuals and the LGBT community. And he gets lit up, not just by the LGBT community. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to defend their ground. I ain't mad at nobody defends their ground. I'm mad when we sitting up and joining in the fight when we didn't even fight for ourselves. That's why I'm here. He should never have been able to establish ground. We have to start a pushback. It's too much trash out there. It's too much crap that is finding its ways to our ears. I was with my babies all weekend. When I say babies, I only really have one baby. That's the 7-year-old. Everybody else is darn near out the house or out the house. Most of them are out the house and got 3 in, well, 4. One's back for a while, but he's of the age to be out the house, but he's back. He's getting some stuff done. And then I got a 19-year-old and a sophomore, 19-year-old sophomore in college, a 16, almost 17-year-old junior in high school, and a freshman in high school. But I'm with them this weekend, all of them. We all, got away. I'm with them. So, dealing, just taking some time for family because I needed it and they needed it and whatever. But anyway, my wife, Marion, she's playing music, right? And the kids are listening to the music. And, oh my God, what are you playing? And I'm talking about quality music. And I'm not talking about old stuff like me. If I get in, you're getting 70s and 80s and some 90s. You're getting Earth, Wind, and Fire, Confunction, Commodores, Parliament, and Funkadelic, and Cameo, and Ohio Players, and you're gonna get some Whitney, some Mariah, you're gonna get some Guy, you're gonna get you get some 90s, you get some Guy, you'll get some Jodeci, but you're gonna get giftedness. You're gonna get giftedness. You're gonna get real, true talent in music production and actually instruments being played, especially in the 70s and early 80s, where bands were actually bands, and so forth. But I'm listening to them, and then they'll say, okay, what do you want to listen to? And then what they put on is like, how much of that do you actually understand? And they can't. They'll say, okay, maybe we're just old and can't understand it. What did he just say? And for the most part, you can't get it. But even when you can understand what he can say, it's disrespectful. And I'm not acting like we didn't have disrespectful lyrics back in the day. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it had its place. I'm not saying that we didn't have people who were highly sensual and sexual. We had Prince, for God's sakes. We had Millie Jackson. We had a bunch of things. You listen to some of the lyrics even the way they presented it made you go, So, I mean, it's not about. It's like with Lil Nas X. It's like you say, okay, man, he can't get any more vulgar and raunchy, and so he doubles down to prove that he can. It's not even about putting out quality material. It's about proving how far I can push the envelope, how radical I can be, and how much of a response I can get out of people. And then I'm gonna grow my celebrity that way. I came in through the back door, got kids hyped, but I'm gonna actually just take that platform and I'm gonna blow stuff up, and I'm gonna watch people, because now I have a platform, and it's hard to take that back on social media once they get out there, because they're just people who will get behind it. My thing is this: it's our responsibility, let me be clear about that, to put forth an effort to govern what we're allowing our children to listen to. It's our responsibility that when someone comes sideways, that they get checked. That's a part of the code of conduct that I put on the Odyssey Project site. You have to be willing to check the BS. I'm not about telling somebody how to live their life, but I am about saying what different types of lifestyles lead to. I am about saying, okay, that's not just about you. You're now pushing that bullshit on my kids. Excuse my language. I'm trying to get you to understand that it's our responsibility to do better, to hold people accountable, to sit up and say exactly what we are going to accept and what we're not going to accept, and then follow it up by action. And then we can control it if we start building our own, creating our own, offering opportunities, and rewarding kids for putting out good music again. They will. If you reward them for putting out good music and you apply negative consequences for putting out trash, they will adjust. But it's up to us. It's like with anything else. A woman who will not sit up and sit up and say, you know what? I'm not gonna allow this dude to beat me. I'm not gonna allow this dude to cheat on me. And gets up and walks out. A man who sits up and says, I'm not gonna sit up and go to work every day only to come home and be disrespectful. I'm not doing it, I'm leaving. You're setting a standard by which you are either going to be engaged or you will not allow them to engage you. Now, if they want your audience, if they want your time, if they want your attention, they have to make the adjustment. That is life. That's how you move in anything. And until we start making demands, not just through a bunch of bumping, but sitting up saying, I won't buy it, my kids won't listen to it, and then I'm gonna, me personally, because I have a platform, I'm gonna go write a darn 500 word, 600 word essay on this crap. So I'm gonna put out something on it. I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna put out so many tweets on it. I'm gonna put out so many posts on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on it. I'm gonna be a counter insertion of positive content that calls out BS because it's my responsibility. I'm not just gonna sit around and look, oh my God, oh my God, wow. The hell with all that. I wanna make you feel me. That's how I operate in life. That's how I was when I was out there young and wild and acting a fool. I'm gonna make you feel me. I'm not finna bump guns. I don't spit box. I'm not doing a whole lot of exchanges. I'm gonna say how I feel. If you still want a buck, I'm gonna make you feel me. That's simply how we've got to be as a race of people. Start making them feel you. I could talk all about the nuances and the science and the psychology and the sociology and the studies and all that. I've spent my lifetime building that work. That's great. I understand it on that level. But at the most purest, unadulterated level, it's simply this. Make them feel you. You want results, make them feel you. People ask me, man, how you move through the hood? You never got plugged up. You never joined the gang. Because anybody who messed with me knew, number one, I'm not bothering nobody. I'm out here. I'm trying to do what I got to do to get out this hood. But while I'm here, I'm not bothering nobody. But if you bother me, you gonna feel me. And I'm not afraid to die. I've been that way for a long. I'm not gonna live my life in fear. I'm not gonna live my life being pushed around by anybody. If that means my life is going to be shortened, oh, so be it. But I'm going to live my life on my terms to the best of my ability, and nobody's going to bully me. So that's the way I was. Hey, I ain't the baddest person in the world, but if you're going to have to want to be, you're going to have to want to feel me in order to get next to me and do something to me, because it ain't coming easy. And that's the way we need to handle these people. I could talk, like I said, we could get into the lectures, we get it all, but at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. I'm tired of these young cats coming out here and spitting trash and being called the best and being referred to as the GOAT and all kind of other stuff when they don't even understand the culture. They don't even understand the history of the culture. I talked about Questlove calling out the baby. And I got issues with that because you had this dude on your favorites list when he's spitting trash to these kids. But the thing is, when you play, my grandfather always told me, you play with trash, you get in your eyes. So you got this cat on you. I'm talking Questlove now. You got this cat on your favorites list. You got him on your wish list to perform at some event, right? But then you hear him muffle off this stuff that pisses off the gay community. So now you scratch him off the list and you post it, and he come back and he diss you. Like, I don't even know who you are. That's his response to you. Who is this dude? And anybody who's anywhere close to hip hop knows who Questlove is, knows who the Roots, knows about the Roots. So my thing is, that's just blatant disrespect because we haven't held them accountable. I hold young cats accountable. You can't step to me any kind of way. Don't let the gray fool you. We gotta start acting like we got some darn gone courage. That ain't what I wanted to say. But anyway, I'm about to make a stop, so I gotta get out of here for a minute. You guys take it easy. I'm out.